Good evening. First on News 2 at 6 o'clock, the head of the Department of Children and Family Services says she is not going anywhere a week after another child overdosed on drugs and died.
The agency was aware of this case, just like a similar one this summer when another child died. 7 days after the death of Jari Paul, the department admits his case slipped through the cracks. The investigative unit and Chris Nakamoto asking tough questions tonight.
DCFS Secretary Marquita Walters says she has no plans to resign, despite growing calls for her to exit the agency. Tonight, they are blaming short staffing and overloaded case workers for this latest problem.
We composed a strike team.
Top DCFS leaders gathered Monday to address the death of 20-month-old Jari Paul, who overdosed on fentanyl on Halloween. The Assistant Secretary over Child Welfare, the section responsible for keeping kids safe, says agency leaders have been so overwhelmed in Baton Rouge, they've been having to get help from neighboring parishes.
Most of those cases, we've had to ask Livingston Parish to pick up for us. We're carrying some of them, but Livingston is picking up some of those that have a little bit longer response priority on.
The state was made aware of Jari's case 10 days before he overdosed. An anonymous complaint alleged his mother was using marijuana in the presence of her children. Problem is, that tip came in while she was in jail in Texas, and that's where DCFS found her.
I got a call on the 1st. My baby died on Halloween. And when they called me, they said they was looking for me a week prior because they had a pending case on me about me doing drugs around my kids when I was in jail in Texas.
Jamira Paul says Jari and his siblings were staying with their father at the time the one-year-old died. State Representative Jason Hughes is one of the harshest critics of DCFS. He believes the secretary should resign after this latest death.
With each passing day, my opinion and my call for Secretary Walters' resignation is being confirmed. She has proven to me, she has proven to the public that she is incapable of leading this agency, and unfortunately, with all due respect, she's proven to be incompetent.
At a news conference Monday, the leader of the agency told us she's not going anywhere.
We put out information to you on Saturday that gave you as much information about the case as we have at this point that we can give you. It is still an ongoing investigation.
This is the second fentanyl overdose death involving a toddler in Baton Rouge within months. The first one involved Mitchell Robinson III. The state was notified 3 times about the danger he was in, but did nothing. Walters promised changes this summer, but it appears not much has changed.
Law enforcement and the coroner's office are still working on this case. So we're not going to talk much more about that.
The WBRZ investigative unit showed you the child welfare section at DCFS lost 70 employees between the time Mitchell and Jari overdosed. With increasing caseloads, an exodus of workers, and low morale, getting the job done to keep Louisiana's most vulnerable children safe has been a tall order.
Removals take a significant amount of time. You're talking about investigators having to go to court, working generally with medical and law enforcement very closely, preparing all the paperwork for the district attorney. So it's a tremendous amount of time and effort that goes into a removal, and there were 30 last month.
Leaders say there are 9 investigators assigned to the Baton Rouge area. There are currently more than 400 openings at DCFS, and 173 of those are in the section tasked with keeping kids safe. For the investigative unit, I'm Chris Nakamoto.
DCFS issued an explanation on this latest overdose death about 5 days after it happened and about an hour before the LSU-Alabama game. The leader of the agency called that timing coincidental and says it was at that time they had enough accurate information to release. Also earlier today, Walters said she serves at the pleasure of the governor. We reached out to the governor's office but got no answer on her standing within this administration.